Welcome to Caseback Watches. My name is Tim, and in this episode we're going to check out the Marinor Ghost made by the Canadian brand Héron or Héron. In this video we have plenty of opportunities to find out the correct pronunciation of that brand, and now let's do it. And I think I will stick to Héron because I've heard this podcast, Totally Tintin, made by two Canadians. And one of the hosts, by the way, Totally Tintin is about the comic figure Tintin made by or created by Hergé. And one of the hosts pointed out that theoretically every Canadian is bilingual, so French and English. But it's very theoretically. In this case, both were English speakers, but they could read at least French. But this such a nice sound and a nice look together with this accent grave, accent aigu. I don't remember my French lessons in school, to be honest. All right, the watch now. Very simple story behind it. They reached out on Instagram and asked if I want to check out their Marinor watch, and I saw the design, and relatively unique or pretty unique design, and I read this, the fact sheet, the specification sheet, and everything looked good, and so I said yes. And this watch basically makes three promises. First, unique design, design that stands out, that you can spot from a distance. Second, very tough specs, so good water resistance and a anti-scratch coating covering the entire watch, also great feature. And the third promise is that you get all this at a, let's say, reasonable price under the 600 mark. And now let's check out if this is all true. And there we are with our Marinor Ghost North Blue. So a very interesting color here between blue and green. Really fascinating. But let's begin as always with the basic specifications so that you know what you can expect from this watch. So we have a 39mm case here. The length, the lug to lug, is 47. Lug width is 20. And the height 12.9, including the sapphire crystal. Yes, sapphire crystal with a nice dome to it, with anti-reflective coating. Sometimes you see these coatings a bit with this blue glare here. Then we have a 120 click bezel, unidirectional. We don't have any sort of insert here, it's just brushed metal. Then of course a screw down crown, because this watch is waterproof up to 300 meters, and I think you cannot get to that depth without screw down crown. And the movement here is the Miyota 9039, so good industrial standard. We find this movement in a lot of rather affordable watches, does the job. Speaking of affordable, this watch here goes for 550 euros or 595 US dollars, so we are smidgen under the 600 mark. And another important feature here is the coating. The metal here is coated with an extra hard layer against scratches. Very neat, because these coatings tend to work actually. I had some watches here with this kind of coating, and at least one I used for heavy duty, and you don't see so many scratches. It really actually works. And now let's check out the design. To be honest, first I was a bit underwhelmed. I took it out of the box and I thought, okay, there's not so much going on. But then on the wrist, the watch proved some qualities really, because it stands out. It's something completely different, and it's nicely equilibrated, if you know what I mean. It's extremely symmetric, the dial. It's extremely legible, really does the job. And it's interesting because it reacts to light and to different light sources. So it's not boring to wear that watch, although in the first minute I thought, this could be a bit boring on the wrist, but it's not. There's enough to explore really, and so this was fun, I must admit. I found the case on my wrist a bit boxy, the lugs here. But this could be taste, to be honest. I don't want to mark this as a minus. All right, let's go over the functionality next. Pretty straightforward. This is perfect. Yeah, this is just perfect. It's not too stiff. It's not too loose. It's just perfect. You don't have play, but it's not hard to operate that thing. I was under the impression that the alignment is not perfect, though. Maybe I'm too strict here, so let's not overemphasize this. Yeah, screw down crown works okay. Works really, yeah, really normal, to be honest. And then the movement allows hand winding function. And then you have position 1. There's not a ghost position. There's just position 1, hackable movement. And then you can set the time here. And this feels really okay. So nothing to complain. Let's close the watch again. There is a bit of a scratchiness. Little irritation, but okay, wasn't so hard to close it. And there you go. And now let's speak briefly about the bracelet here. This is very close to another watch. I will show you as well. And this is my Lorier Neptune. There you go. And you see that's pretty close. That's pretty close in design. Could be the same factory actually. Here the links are a bit bigger and thicker, and I criticized that every time when I have this watch, that I found the bracelet a bit too rustic here. I mean, it's covered with scratches because I actually used it in the water. And here it's a bit thinner. These links are a bit thinner, a bit finer, see that? In direct comparison, and so I like this a bit more, to be honest. Perhaps I should swap the bracelets and send this one back now. I will not do that, of course, but I think this is an interesting aspect that they opted for this relatively simple form of a bracelet, but the execution is slightly more subtle, although you see here this clasp is better. In my eyes, it's smaller. This is very blocky and boxy, and so I think the perfect solution were to swap the clasp and the bracelets for the perfect combination. And by the way, the measurements are also pretty close. This is also we have scratch resistant coating here. This is also a 39mm watch head. See that? And the length, lug to lug, is also similar, I think. And so I think this is an interesting comparison, and it works. It works, and here you see the diver extension, because this watch comes with a diver extension, so that means you can just enlarge it very quickly and backwards to wear it over a wetsuit. Bracelet works, all good. And now let's put it on the wrist. And there it is, 17cm wrist, 39mm watch, very large clasp, bit of a minus for me personally. But the overall look, really okay. Here you see the height, acceptable, I would say. And imagine this watch now, not here in the lightbox, imagine it on the beach, in a beach bar. I think this really fits a certain lifestyle in the summer. So really fun. And now let's go out, let's check it out under broad daylight. Welcome back. I hope you enjoyed this Lightbox review. The Marinor Ghost here is limited to 100 pieces, so it's possible that it's sold out when you check out their website, but there are other regular models of the Marinor dive watch you can purchase every day, basically. Okay, and the last part of this video is, as often, viewers' images. And this one here comes from Mel from California. What you see here is a 47-0 bronze watch, and I've sold this watch to Mel a couple of months ago and forgot about it. And then he requested a green strap, and I wondered, what watch he wants to pair with that green strap, and now I know, and this is really the perfect match. Very interesting ensemble, really. And I'm pretty honored and proud that I could sell both items to Mel. And the next watch here comes from another long-time viewer of Caseback Watches. He calls himself Tough Guy, lives also in the United States, and he sent this. Aloha Tim, I'd like to show off my new MB&F edition in my watch family. It is kind of weird and ugly, but for some reason I love it. And I fully understand why you love it, because it's a very interesting brand. I came across that brand for my video 5 Freaks, where I presented rather unusual watches and really freaky, big, really expensive, and then I came across this brand and saw their pieces you can put in a display, but not necessarily on your wrist. So this watch, to be honest, looks great on you. It looks, yeah, quirky, of course, but certainly not ugly. And so thank you very much for sending this interesting piece in. All right, and dear viewer, if you want to participate here, then don't hesitate to send wrist shots and other images you find interesting from your hometown, for example, to caseback.watches@icloud.com. And that's all for this episode here now. Thank you very much for your attention, and until next time.